Ahead on Q2, for the first time, a look inside the city's new home.
Well, this will be the new city council chambers.
Several city departments are set to move into the Stillwater building. We'll take a tour of the nearly $50 million project. Plus, 104-mile-per-hour winds topple more than a dozen power poles near Gardner. We'll have the details and show you the damage. And farm technology leading to cheaper food prices.
How can we do more with less? How can we farm every inch of that land? How can we get the most yield per acre? That's the name of the game.
How the world of agriculture is affecting your wallet in a good way. The MTN News starts right now. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on this Thursday. I'm Russ Riesinger. City of Billings is nearing completion on its moving project, which will put nearly all departments, including the police department, public works, and city hall, under one roof. The new location inside the former Stillwater building in downtown Billings, which will provide more space for different entities. The $46 million project has taken several years to complete, but the city says it will be well worth it. And for the first time, our Charlie Kleps gets a look inside the new digs.
Construction progress continues to be made here at the new City Hall building in downtown Billings. This will be the entrance for the public off of North 26th Street, with the first City Hall meeting tentatively scheduled for February 3rd. From the outside, the Stillwater building may look the same.
This will be the new city council chambers.
But step inside and you'll see the new City Hall has been upgraded in a big way.
This is where city council will have all their business meetings and their work sessions.
From modern and more spacious city council chambers,
So the fourth floor, mainly the police department.
to an entire floor dedicated to the Billings Police Department.
We're all in one building and should be a lot more user-friendly for the public.
Practically all city departments can be found here. Assistant City Administrator Kevin Iflin says that unity was one of two main goals when the city decided to spend $46 million renovating the building. The second was more practical.
Old City Hall, you know, a great building. We occupied it for decades over there, but we were just running out of spaces. We were remodeling closets, old vaults to put people in, you know, to serve the public.
That certainly won't be the case going forward. The 5-story building will house nearly all city departments. As for the old City Hall building, changes are on the way.
We're looking at closing May 1 with the city.
The property and the adjacent parking garage are being bought by longtime Billings developer Bill Honecker, who plans to bring this 7-story Marriott hotel to downtown.
It's kind of a modern European in terms of design.
Construction is expected to begin this summer. The hotel will be built where the old Rockman building stands. Honecker still isn't sure what will become of the old City Hall.
There's just so much to do, and so that building's a little problematic.
Regardless, Honecker and the city hope the changes will bring new life to downtown.
I mean, it's going to create, I think, some synergy to all of it. We're doing it because there's the need for it.
It'll be a boost, you know, for restaurants down in that area, you know, a bunch of different, you know, other businesses along with that.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
A prominent Crow Agency musician has denied 2 allegations of sexual crimes against a child. 53-year-old Jared Stewart pled not guilty to 1 felony count of abusive sexual contact of a child and 1 felony count of sexual abuse of a minor. Court documents allege that Stewart knowingly caused a child under the age of 12 years old to engage in sexual contact between the years of 2014 and 2018. They further allege that Stewart engaged in sexual acts with the same child between 2018 and 2021 when the child was between 12 and 16 years old. Stewart has released several studio albums and performed all around the region. If convicted, he faces a maximum sentence of life in prison. There's another fire emergency in Los Angeles County with new wildfires driven by high winds. Those fires, one of which has exploded in size, has led to tens of thousands of more evacuations. Andres Gutierrez has the latest.
Fire crews are making progress, battling the wind-driven flames tearing through bone-dry vegetation in California's latest large wildfire.
I can't officially say that it has been stopped in its perimeter yet, but it's slowed way down. It's looking really good.
The Hughes fire started Wednesday morning and quickly erupted to more than 10,000 acres, about 16 square miles, forcing around 30,000 people to evacuate their homes and businesses.
Fire crews say they have a better handle on this fire compared to the ones that devastated the Pacific Palisades and Altadena earlier this month, killing more than 24 people and wiping out entire neighborhoods.
The difference on these fires, we're sitting at 35, 40 mile an hour winds. I was on the Palisades fire that first night and I had wind gusts up 80 to 100 miles an hour and they were relentless. It's like fighting a hurricane with fire attached to it.
This is obviously near a much more populated area and next to one of the busiest freeways in the world.
Another fire came dangerously close to drivers on the 405 freeway on the west side of Los Angeles Wednesday night, forcing anxious residents to start preparing to flee if necessary.
I don't understand what's happening. We can't get a break.
But crews quickly got that one under control.
The commander of this incident feels very confident that this fire is not going to endanger anyone.
A red flag warning for Southern California has been extended through Friday morning, but fire crews may catch a break. Rain is in the forecast for the weekend. Andres Gutierrez, CBS News, Castaic, California.
Meanwhile, here in Montana, high winds have been wreaking havoc over the last couple of days. While those winds are now lessening, a massive cleanup project is underway near Gardner after 104-mile-per-hour winds Tuesday knocked down more than a dozen power poles. Many of those poles are located in the foothills of the Dome Mountain just north of Gardner. Northwestern Energy says the remote location and rugged terrain means the work will take several days. But for residents in that area, not all is lost. They are now being served by an alternative power line, so service is not being interrupted.
Definitely been a windy one. We've had wind gusts of 53 miles an hour in Livingston, 54 miles an hour in Harleton, and 55 miles an hour in Big Timber. And that's in advance of another advancing cold front moving our way. A lot of clouds thus far, only some light snow showers trying to hit the ground. But we have another good chance for some more snow showers as early as tomorrow morning. Most places not too heavy, but it's definitely in the forecast. Going to let you know what else is coming over the next 7 days in just a few minutes.
One of President Trump's many executive orders lays the groundwork for using the military to enforce immigration laws. But can the president legally send active troops to stop unauthorized immigration at the border? As Patrick Terpstra finds out in this evening's Truth Be Told, the answer may depend on what exactly the mission entails.
The Pentagon announced it's sending 1,500 active duty troops to the U.S.-Mexico border, days after President Trump ordered a stronger military response to what he calls an invasion of undocumented immigrants.
As Commander-in-Chief, I have no higher responsibility than to defend our country from threats and invasions, and that is exactly what I am going to do.
The Defense Department says the troops will join 2,500 active duty personnel already at the border and will assist in the construction of more physical barriers, also providing deportation flights for more than 5,000 undocumented immigrants.
Index!
Deploying the military to the border in limited support roles isn't new. Presidents George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden all called up troops to assist immigration authorities. Governors have also sent state National Guard members. What's different is Trump's idea to possibly use active duty troops to enforce immigration laws. Trump has given U.S. Northern Command, which assigns military missions in the U.S., 10 days to draw up a campaign to seal the border and stop unlawful mass migration.
It would be an attempt to transform immigration enforcement into a military operation. Something like this, I think, would generate tremendous opposition and resistance.
A law from the 1800s prohibits U.S. troops from engaging in civilian law enforcement, but Trump says he may invoke the Insurrection Act that gives the commander-in-chief power to use military forces on U.S. soil in extreme cases. Patrick Terpstra, Scripps News, Washington.
Robert Kennedy Jr. plans to keep his financial stake in some pharmaceutical litigation if confirmed as Health and Human Services Secretary. RFK has earned more than $2.4 million referring clients to the law firm Wisner-Baum. That firm is currently suing a drug maker over its HPV vaccine, Gardasil. Ethics records show he intends to keep collecting fees related to past referrals. That could pose an issue because as head of Health and Human Services, he'd be in a position to oversee policies that affect drug makers. Kennedy is scheduled to appear before 2 Senate committees next week as part of his confirmation hearings. The Gianforte administration announced that Carroll College and the University of Montana will share a $4 million investment that aims to address shortages in healthcare workers. That money comes at the recommendation of the Behavioral Health for Future Generations Commission. It'll be used to help launch a physician assistant program at Carroll College and an occupational therapy and physician assistant program at UM. Carroll College expects to welcome in the first cohort of students in the spring of 2028. According to a 2022 Montana Department of Labor and Industry report, approximately 67 physician assistants and 33 occupation therapists are needed to meet community demands. Your shopping habits probably have changed a lot, with price being a big factor in what you buy. And while you may not think about it, companies are finding ways to cut costs with the use of cutting-edge technology. Dan Grossman takes us behind the scenes to look at the massive farming machines that companies are producing to make a big difference in the field and in your wallet.
If you don't work in the ag space, maybe you look at this robot carrying 2 baskets of acorns and think, so what? Why would this possibly interest me? For starters, it's a demonstration of the technology that could ultimately help save you money.
How can we do more with less? How can we farm every inch of that land? How can we get the most yield per acre? That's the name of the game.
Igino Cafiero is the director of high-value crop autonomy at John Deere, the world's largest manufacturer of tractors and farm equipment. This year, his company is releasing the 9RX, the world's first tractor that can harvest crops and till land without needing a human present. The tractor uses GPS to precisely guide its 30-ton frame within an inch of where it needs to go, saving time, money, and resources.
And they can scan the trees, see how they're growing, relate the weather patterns to the chemical inputs to the yields, so that in future years down the line we can optimize for yield or inputs or water or anything you like. It's really remarkable.
According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, advancements like this yield higher crop productivity, decrease the use of water and fertilizers, reduce the impact to natural ecosystems, and improve worker safety. All things that trickle down to the price you pay in stores. By how much? That's difficult to quantify, but the Rural Broadband Association says AI imaging can cut chemical costs by 60% or more, and autonomous equipment makes planting less expensive, from 7 cents to 25 cents per hour. So yeah, at first glance, this robot carrying acorns may not have looked consequential, but now it's the kind of technology that will ease the stress on your wallet down the road. Dan Grossman, Scripps News, Denver.